But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Which of all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every creature and the breath of all mankind. Job 12:7-10. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Kicking Feet Outdoors. So today I'm going to be walking you through my 2024 spring turkey season, which turned out to be a great time. But I am going to just remind you, there's a reason that they call it hunting and not killing. So I went on 2 hunts, and neither were successful this year. But that's part of hunting, and I'm trying to show you the most real content that I can. Not every time you go out hunting, you're not going to be successful. It doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of learning. My first turkey hunting trip this year, we headed down to Meigs County, Ohio. Went down there with my 2 best friends, Rob and Lance, and we hunted down there for 2 mornings, and it was an absolute blast. So with that being said, huge shout out to my best friend Rob. Thank you for inviting me along, man. After getting down there, we kind of got everything set up, made camp, and then early on the first morning we went out, which turned out to be a fun morning and definitely a lot of things that we learned. We went out the first morning and got set up. We didn't really have an idea of where we were going. We just wanted to get out in the woods, listen that morning. So we got out there, sat for a while, listened, but we didn't hear anything. Then we moved on and just kind of walked the area that we were hunting down there. Every once in a while, Rob would call. We'd stop and listen, see if we could hear anything. We put some miles on the boots that morning, but unfortunately it didn't pan out the first morning. We did, however, hear some gobblers way off in the distance. But as Rob said, that they were past the river in a no hunting zone, and they were so far away that it was more than likely, we couldn't call them in for ourselves from that distance. So we didn't go after those birds. The first half of turkey season, you can only hunt until noon. So, at noon we got back to the cabin and licked our wounds, made a game plan for the next day, and we just chilled out for the rest of the day, which turned out to be really fun. And later that night, we went out and scouted some public land. It was about 45 minutes away, down close to the Ohio River, but we never heard anything. We did see a couple tracks, turkey tracks, but it didn't pan out, and we decided not to hunt there the next day. So the second morning and last morning that I was down there, we woke up early, obviously, and made it out into the woods, and kind of did the same thing as the day before. We sat and listened for a while, but after not hearing anything, we decided to move to a location that Rob calls Squirrel Ridge. And at the bottom of this ridge, Rob called, and instantly a gobbler hammered, and he was definitely on top of that hill. But as history has shown us in the past, you have the advantage if you're on the high ground, and this bird was on the high ground. And unfortunately, all 3 of us, myself, Rob, and Lance, we started beating feet up this hill. I say beating feet, but we weren't actually running. But that gobbler was up there with some hens, and there was probably no other way to get up there without spooking him, unfortunately. And by the time we made it to the top, he had spooked. So that concluded my hunt down in Meigs County. Definitely learned a lot, but unfortunately, we just couldn't connect. So my next trip was down in Hillsboro, Ohio, with my family friend Earl. Let me just tell you about Earl. Earl's amazing. Him and his family, God bless them all right, they're fantastic people. Love them. Earl is 110% the best turkey hunter out there. So the first morning we started at a farm. We were out there pretty early. Earl called a little bit, but there was nothing. We didn't hear anything. It's a farm that we've hunted several times in the past. That farm usually produces a gobbler. One thing I've noticed that this season, this being my first season back in a while, seems like there's not as many birds this year as there has been in the past. And we got to talking, why numbers could be down. Bobcats are really starting to move in Ohio and making a strong comeback. Of course, you can't trap those. Fur bearers aren't allowed to trap the bobcats yet. So you're not able to eliminate that threat to the turkeys. But also, the cicadas. We haven't had the cicada hatch here in Ohio yet. So that's predominantly something that turkeys will feed on. And then of course, there's some bird flus going around, like the avian bird flu and stuff like that. So they could be hammering the birds. Another theory out there that we discussed, there was this article produced, and the deer hunters, I'm a deer hunter, so this is not talking bad about deer hunters, but hunters like to put out horn for deer, right? And here in Ohio, it's legal to bait for your deer. And there's a theory that some of the chemicals and products that's on that shelled corn is actually causing the male turkeys to become sterile. So there's that theory out there, and that could be also a huge factor as to why the bird populations are low. The rest of that first morning, we just spent driving around and glassing for birds, which is something we typically do down there. And it's super fun time. We just get to drive around and look, but didn't even see any birds in the fields that morning. So it was a lot different than it has been in the past, but thankful nonetheless. So then we followed up that night with supper at a place called The Porch there in Hillsboro. And let me tell you, the food is phenomenal. All right. If you're in Ohio, anywhere in Southern Ohio or in Hillsboro specifically, you need to go to The Porch. Okay. Their food it's beautiful. It's good. It's well priced. You get what you pay for, and it's not overpriced. So definitely, if you get the chance, go check out The Porch in Hillsboro, Ohio. It's wonderful. So the second morning was really cool. We went to a spot that I haven't hunted before in years past, and it was just beautiful, and I'm very thankful that we got to hunt there. We got in there nice and early, started out the morning. We hadn't even heard the birds come off the roost yet. I hadn't even heard any hens talk yet, but out of the corner of my eye, here's two hens, and they're off to my left probably like 20 yards, so they're close. And of course, something a lot of people don't know, but turkeys see in color, and that's why turkey hunting is just a different ball game. It's tough because you've got to be well camoed, and that's why they make a lot of the kind of leafy camo and whatnot. It just helps you really blend in, and whether people want to admit it or not, especially wild turkeys, they're super smart. They get it. They'll pinpoint you right there, exactly where you are. They're incredible creatures. It's all about respecting the game. So those hens meandered out there for a little bit, and about that time, two does come past us right in front of us, right there. It's so cool. And they came by, and Earl was doing a little bit of calling because he didn't want, just in case those does started blowing at us, but they never did, which was awesome. So the deer wandered off, and then those hens, they went back in, and we had, I don't know, probably 4 different gobblers gobbling that morning. There was one, way out in the woods across from us. There was one behind us. There was one to our back right. It was incredible. Birds just hammering. We sat there for quite some time, and, late in the season, harder to pull those gobblers from their hens, and eventually, probably like 500-600 yards out, you could see some movement out there, and it turned out to be 2 gobblers, 2 jakes, I believe, and a hen. At that point, they were so far away, and there was no way for us to put a sneak up on them or even get those birds to come to us. With that hen being so hot, you couldn't drag those boys away. Definitely a really cool experience. I come from a part of Ohio where we really don't have many turkeys, and it is just a huge blessing to actually be out there and seeing wild turkeys. Super cool. and very thankful. So huge shout out to Earl and his family. I appreciate y'all and I love y'all dearly. Anyways, I know this is probably going to make for a short video, but that's going to conclude my 2024 turkey season. Next year, for the 2025 turkey season, I am 110% planning on going down to the Wayne National Forest here in Ohio, and I'm going to try out my luck down there. I'll probably still, go hunt with Rob and Lance and Earl, but I think I'm going to give it a go and see what I can do down there. I'm so far away from being an expert turkey hunter. I don't even come close. So I'm going to take it very seriously this next entire year and really start practicing on some calls, watching a lot of videos, and trying to learn the game. That way I can make a trip down there by myself and try to get on some birds and see what I can do. And just to talk about coming up after this video, so just to let you guys know, my season 2 will begin with this upcoming deer season. So coming up, I'm going to have a lot of videos of prep work and some more outdoor things. I'm trying to include everything outdoors that I can think of, and that includes living on a farm, like farm style life. So I'm hoping to throw in some cooking videos, canning videos, gardening videos, and my folks even have a farm-raised turkey that needs butchering. I'm planning on throwing that on there. This is all about just anything outdoors and teaching you guys and learning along the way myself. And soon I'll definitely have a lot of videos because I'm about to begin planting some food plots. I've got a soybean plot that needs planted, and I've got a sunflower plot that needs planted as well. So you'll definitely get to see a lot of that, and putting up stands and blinds later in August. And as well as I need to build a new balcony for one of our ground blinds and move our tripod deer feeder. So there's a lot of stuff coming up for y'all to watch, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And I'm super excited. I think deer hunting's probably my favorite hunting. So I can't wait to begin this next deer season and really have a blast with it and continue just growing on this. Thank you guys for your views, for your comments, for your likes. I really appreciate it, and I'm very, very thankful, truly blessed to be doing this. This is going to wrap up this video, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share with your friends. Thanks guys. Have a good one.